Hello, I'm Judy Stiles. Thank you for joining us this week on Newsmakers. A new academic year is underway at Missouri Southern. Lots happening on campus, and today we have an opportunity to visit with President Dr. Alan Marble. Thank you for being here today.
I'm always glad to be with you, Judy.
How do you characterize the feeling around campus when you walk around this first week of class?
I don't know. There's something special this year. It seems like there's just energy and electricity in the air. It's maybe it's growing enrollment, maybe it's buildings being added. I don't know. Maybe it's all that, but there's something special happening.
Well, I know that for people in the community, they've been reading and seeing what's happening on campus. So I want to follow up on some of the recent things, and we'll look forward to the future as well on today's program. I know most recently we kind of kicked off the year with the faculty and staff together and really had a session where, like you say, it seemed to be a lot of optimism, talking about the good things happening on campus.
Well, yeah, this is the first time, this is the first time that we've had faculty and staff all join together for me, which made the meeting so large we had to have it in Taylor Auditorium right? instead of Corley. But it was really a fabulous day, I think, for everyone to get together and enjoy the fellowship and learn some things about what's happened over the summer, what we accomplished last year, and what we hope to get done this year. And I did. You could feel the energy that day, and it's continuing on through this first week.
Now, something that stuck out in my mind listening to you speak is you used the term servant leadership and talking about the community on campus and serving and so forth.
Yeah, I think certainly serving should be what we're all about. We're in the service business, and serving students in our community and each other is really kind of the core of servant leadership. And anyone can be a servant leader. We can all serve, and at times we'll all be in a leadership position depending on the situation. So I think certainly that's at the core of what we're all trying to accomplish.
And you were talking to not only faculty but staff, across all levels of jobs on campus, anyone who has a role at Missouri Southern, especially those working with students.
Absolutely. And I really think that the servant leadership model is great because we're leading whether we know it or not. Someone's always watching what you're doing. And if you're a senior faculty person, then probably you can help that junior faculty person. But the junior faculty people can help the senior faculty folks also because they may have the information. So it's just a matter of who's holding the baton at the time.
And a lot of what I sound like hearing about, talking about teamwork, that people working together and across departmental lines, across the titles of jobs and so forth.
Yeah, I think that's the real key, and that's why I was so happy to see us all together, is that, dropping our titles and getting away from, I'm strictly faculty or I'm staff, and everybody getting together for the unified purpose of helping students and helping our university advance is really what it's all about. And I think, we saw great examples of that in the just recently ended Olympics, with some great team success. I used the women's gymnastics team as an example. Great athletes, and any one of them could have elected to stand out and try to take the spotlight. But at different times, each one of them served the leadership role, and they all came together as a team and were completely dominant. And that's what can happen with us too.
So strength from within, what people have to offer. Your vice presidents, the different administrators also had reports talking about themes, reasons to celebrate, making things better. Each area, whether it was academics or facilities, we were hearing reports of things happening on campus.
Yeah, we tried to split that all up and not take too much time to keep it rolling very well. But we have some great folks here that are just doing an outstanding job. And for them to be able to share with faculty and staff what's going on in each area, I think kind of helped link it all together for everyone that day.
And it really kind of shows people there's a lot going on behind the scenes before classes begin. When you come back in August, there's been a lot of hard work on campus.
There's a lot happening, We had a great year, and so that was one thing we wanted to talk about. We had a great year. Enrollment was up. We had a fine year on campus. We had a great year in Jefferson City. Our local elected delegation just did a great job for us, led by Senator Richard and certainly Representative Flanagan, who was budget chair this year. We really did very, very well. And so that was something to celebrate.
And that really probably, that budget side of things, when Jefferson City supports the university the way it did this year financially, not only for your operating budget, in other ways as well, makes a big difference for you.
Makes a huge difference. We're going to be able to do things to Reynolds Hall, and with a $17 million worth of renovation and expansion that I hadn't dreamed of just a couple, 3 or 4 years ago. That's going to help a lot. We're doing some things with psychology. We're going to have to move to host the dental school that'll be moving in eventually. And the first move in that, of course, is to move the Child Development Center to the Regional Center. All those things are falling in place. So it's an exciting time. And we're very grateful to the legislators that helped us get that get that accomplished.
So the ball's really just starting to roll. You're seeing construction right now at Reynolds, but then you're seeing child development starting, and over the next 4 or 5 years, you're going to have a lot of things different on
They're
campus.
dominoes that have to fall, you know, and we have a timeline. It looks like we're going to hit those things, I think, right on time for UMKC Dental School to be moving in the fall of 2018.
Great. Well, following the start with the faculty and staff, then you had an opportunity on Saturday for the freshman convocation, and I know it's a program that's just been around for a few years, but it's kind of a special moment for those incoming students and their families.
It is, and faculty attend. It's a special moment for all of us to see the first time they show up, and we give them a medallion as part of the ceremony that has a green ribbon. You know, the medallion has our alma mater on it and the crest. And at graduation, you can exchange the green ribbon for a gold one.
So it shows you, I started as a freshman, I'm leaving
as a
senior.
freshman, I leave as a senior, and it's just, I found it remarkable how many students we have away from the area. You know, St. Louis, Kansas City, some Kansas, Arkansas.
Oklahoma names, I heard that too.
Hawaii, you know, that's great. We have such diversity. But it was a great day. It's a day I think that we all look forward to. Like I say, this time of year is the most exciting time of the year. The most rewarding time, I think, is commencement, but the kickoff of the fall semester is the most exciting. And really to see those the new freshmen coming in that are ready to get going is just a fantastic day. And
there was really no opportunity for them to be bored. You had a lot of activities on campus that first weekend and continuing into the first week.
Yeah, we keep them pretty busy because we really want to connect. That's kind of the secret, I think, of getting their college experience started off on the right foot, is to connect with someone at the university, connect with several people if they can. So we give them a lot of opportunities to do that during the first week. We think it's really important.
Have that strong start. Now, you mentioned enrollment increasing. I know it takes a while before you get the official count, but all signs show that it's going to be good numbers. Yeah,
we will be up. I know that you know, Derek Skaggs is always very careful, as he should be, about giving numbers until census date, which is the 4th week. But we'll be up in enrollment. There's no question about that. Probably have one of the largest, if not the largest, freshman class ever, and the largest transfer class, it looks like, ever too. So I hope Derek doesn't.
They're not giving you specific numbers, but we're saying you're looking right.
Numbers, so get off the hook with Derek here.
Now, people in the community might be asking, well, what's leading to the increased enrollment? Any signs or responses from the incoming students? You know, what's bringing them to Missouri Southern?
You know, I think it's a combination of things. We have a great reputation for being a university that cares about students and tries to and helps them succeed. That's been here for years. That was here when I was here as a student. You know, so that's nothing new. But I think kind of the energy of seeing new buildings constructed, seeing new programs started, sort of the whole area, the med school coming to town has helped, I think. And just our general attitude around here of being optimistic and hill climbers, not people that are just sitting around waiting for things to happen. It's kind of catching on.
People are watching, and watching outside perhaps the immediate region as well. As you mentioned, you're seeing Oklahoma and Kansas and Arkansas and even Southern Illinois, you know, people coming in here.
I think the Lion Pride tuition discount, you know, that's certainly helped. That gives people, you know, it costs a little less, but it's not really those things. They're coming for the programs. You can ask them, why are you here? And they'll tell you.
I'm studying this.
I'm studying this particular program, and I heard it's fantastic, and it is. You know, nursing, you have 100% pass rate and things like that. So that's what's drawing them. They know that we have good programs, and it's a great value.
Education will let them prepare for their future.
Absolutely.
Putting that together. And of course, we have the crowded situation and some opportunities on campus that the residence halls have booming population and type of things that probably good problems, the challenges that for these at times.
You know, there's a wait. They're full, and there's a waiting list, and we've doubled some rooms and tripled up some rooms, and it's a little inconvenient currently, but that means that we need to probably be thinking about some more. Right. And so that, you know, we've got a lot of things going on, but
the more you get people from outside the region, the more housing
the more we need them. And I've always said, I think a conversation we had a year or two ago was that we've always thought of ourselves as a commuter campus, really only, but we can be both. There's really no reason that we can't be a commuter campus and have plenty of on-campus housing. So we probably just need to catch up with the demand.
So that evolution to more people living on campus and developing that. Well, I know another item you talked about at the opening session, as well as the Board of Governors meeting this week, focused on the great game of education. People on campus have heard about it. People watching John Q. Public in the community might say, "Now, what is that again?" So how do you explain that kind of in layman's terms for John Q. Public?
Sure. The great game of education really is built on the great game of business, which Jack Stack in Springfield at SRC, Springfield Remanufacturing, came up with some 25 years ago, and it's just been a fabulous success in the business arena. And what it really comes down to is that, you know, information is power, but shared information is superpower, and that's what the great game does. It moves information out into the organization in ways that, you know, just top-down structure does not do. And so every person at the university becomes empowered to make changes, to create efficiencies, generate revenue or cut expenses in any way they can to help the university advance. And so it's really kind of a common sense approach based upon the open book management system where you just open the books to everybody. And that makes a lot of sense to us because we're a public institution anyway.
So you have the open books as
The
part
books
of the
are
law.
there,
Right,
yeah,
right.
they're there.
Now, so basically you're taking concepts from the field of industry and applying them to education and adapting as you can for education.
For efficiencies, because, you know, it's 25 years ago, the university was subsidized about 70% of our revenue came from the state.
Right.
Now that's down to like 30%. So we have to be more conscientious with how we spend our money and what we do with our resources. And the more that people can become informed about that, we have smart people work here and people who want to see the place grow and succeed. So giving them the tools to work with is only logical, and it seems to be, it's already working. You know, our budget has gone from a deficit position to in the black, and the more that we learn, the better we'll get.
And that's kind of what was in that teamwork you talked about, the people that know what's going on, they were willing to work together to accomplish things.
Absolutely, it seems to be the way it works.
And so you'll be having for campus viewers training sessions for everybody. I know you've had a group of hardworking people behind the scenes putting it all together and planning. Now we're kind of implementing it this year.
Right, we have some training. It's been a couple of years really as we've kind of put this thing together. But the training sessions now we've turned into a mini game, which is one of the things that you do in the great game. And I heard yesterday, after one day, we've already had 85 people complete.
Already go online and do the training.
Online and do it, so,
That's great.
so people are getting with it. Yeah, they want the information, and it's there for them.
So timetable in place for this? I mean, is it a year long? Is it just ongoing?
It's ongoing. It's, you know, this is the kickoff, and we just get better and better and better at what we do.
Okay. Well, this obviously ties into, as you said, the financial side of Missouri Southern, and you talked about the state funding cut. Missouri Southern, as well as other institutions in the state, were held tuition stable last year. So you've got a lot of elements playing into, you know, how you fund the university. Yeah,
we held it stable, but, you know, with growing enrollment and more state funding, which really we're grateful for, because states around us are suffering you know, cuts that we understand.
Right, you just look
because
across the state line, you can see there.
We've been through those cuts before, and, you know, states very nearby are cutting, and you see the pain that's happening on some of the campuses. Fortunately, we're not in that position. Thank heavens, we're in a much better position where we're able to grow and give raises to our faculty and staff who deserve them, and you know, it's better here. So, it's a good time.
So you can really have a little empathy for when you look across state lines and see what some of the people are having to deal with cuts.
Well, we've all been through that,
right.
you know. I mean, going back to the early 2000s, we've seen cuts and cuts and cuts, but that's not where we are right now. Missouri is kind of jumping into the lead, and that's a good thing.
So kind of changing course from over the years. Yeah. Earlier you mentioned the dental school and the medical school. Some people in the public are probably interested, well, I've heard about Missouri Southern's going to get a dental school and they're doing something with the medical school. How do you kind of explain that process and how they're each maybe impacting Southern?
Well, they're really two separate things and two separate universities. The medical school is Kansas City University. It used to be called KCUMB, had the medical and biosciences. They prefer to be called KCU now. They're opening a campus here in Joplin that will have 150 doctors per year over in the old St. John's area.
Where they have the Mercy post-tornado area.
And that turned into an agreement with us to have a new program called Yours to Lose, where students can enroll here in a special program to prepare them to go into medical school, and they'll have joint acceptance as a freshman at Missouri Southern and the medical school as long as they complete this pre-med program that we have.
So they are in a specific pre-med to lead to that school.
They are, and it's sort of an enhanced pre-med that has some special things that KCU would like to see, foreign language and some things that they want. It's a rigorous program, but there'll be 25 students per year in that program, and 15 alternates, because some folks we know will change their mind and want to do something else. So that's one piece. Plus, all of our pre-med students, our regular pre-med students would be eligible.
They can apply for
They
that.
can apply too, so they could have a spot in med school. And they're going to be opening very soon. They plan to open in the fall of 17.
So a year from now,
1
they'll
year
be
from
saying
now-
our doors are open, bring on the students. Right?
In fact, was it yesterday? What day do we have the picnic? Yesterday
was,
or day before?
Monday, right?
Monday. The picnic, I noticed a bus tour going by, and it was KCU and some of the faculty that they're recruiting to teach at their place. They come
Checking out
over
our campus.
and walk through the campus, because we now have an agreement with them to come to our games and to use our rec center and things, library. And so the faculty were here seeing what we have to offer. And then they're going to pick their own faculty, of course. But
So a lot of close ties between
very
our
close
campus
ties,
and
and I think they're going to be closer as time goes on, and we do some joint research and some joint teaching. We'll have some faculty members doing both things both ways. So that's very exciting.
So for our students, they will then say, I started at Southern and I went straight on to medical school here in Joplin.
And really, it'd just be seamless to just move right through. So that was a very, very exciting thing. The dental school is something, of course, we've talked about with UMKC, University of Missouri at Kansas City, for years, apparently. And well, it looks like that's going to get kicked off, but that's where it takes the domino effect to be able to move them into the Julio.
So they're
Leon
actually
Health
utilizing
Science Building.
facilities on our campus.
They are. They'll be on our campus, whereas KCU won't be. They'll be at a different spot. But they'll be on the second floor of the Leon Health Science Building. And to do that, though, that means we had to move psychology.
They're on the second floor now.
They're on the second floor now. So move psychology back to Taylor Ed Psych Building, renovate it where the Child Development Center will be leaving, and build on. So it will be better. Everybody gets better facilities, not just equal, but better. The Child Development Center, then we'll move over to the Regional Center, which we're renovating currently at the moment.
That work's underway.
In fact, yesterday we actually started renovating a little ahead of time, but we had a closed session after the board meeting yesterday to ratify the lease and to make sure the board understood the lease agreement with the state. So that's what we were talking about in the closed session, which will of course be revealed.
Right, with all public records.
Public records.
So basically, there's still a state building, but Missouri Southern is leasing it for use for the Child Development
About
Center.
2/3 of it. There's still the piece that they're keeping part to use for something else, but we've got about 2/3 of it, and it's got to be renovated for small people.
Right, and you have to add, I'm sure, playgrounds and things that small people like to have, and the children.
All that's going in.
A lot more space for them, perhaps, as well.
Right. Fortunately, we got the money from the state to do that this year, and that's due again to our great leadership down here, our legislators.
So, and the money then is also coming in place to move psychology and renovate Taylor as well?
Yeah, since they put it in our core budget, it'll be there, from now on. So we'll just piece by piece put it together and take care of that move first. Then we'll do the psychology piece, and then we'll be able to have the dental school come in and take the second floor. And they're going to have, I think, 15 students per year.
Oh, okay.
15 dental students per year to start, but they have the capacity for 30 should they grow into that.
Now, will that tie in or overlap any with like the dental hygiene programs, the programs we have in that
I
building?
think it just joins hands perfectly. In fact, they'll be one floor apart.
Right, they're right in the same area.
Yeah, that made it very handy because the plumbing and all that stuff is just right through the floor. And there's a clinic, that we have the dental clinic, which people can come in and it's going to just be great. I think it's going to be a perfect
perhaps serve the
partnership.
community as well through additional opportunities through dental clinics.
That's certainly our goal.
Tying that together. So looking at these opportunities and changes and developments on campus on the academic side, I know at the meeting they also talked about athletics, and of course we know that the North End Zone facility a year ago we were talking about that as new, but that's not the last of the athletics dreams and plans.
No. There's a plan for the stadium renovation, which has been around for a few years. And we're dusting that off and starting to talk to donors about what we can do to bring the stadium up to either build a new one or bring it up to standards for the MIAA, which have very high standards, by the way.
It's a 40-year-old stadium or so it needs to be.
It's a 40-year-old stadium, and there's no elevator, and the steps are high, and it's hard for people to get around. And it sits far away from the field. It's really too far back. So there are plans in place, have been for 4 or 5 years, and we're going to be working on that seriously over the next 2 or 3 or 4 years.
And also mentioned at the meeting the fact that there are more, athletes on campus as well. The student athletes, I should say.
Yes, our student athlete, I spoke to the athletes yesterday, and I think there were 440 or some big
crowd,
number.
yeah.
It was a big crowd. It filled Corley, and they were standing in the back and all over the place. And that's really a good thing for us because the scholarships didn't increase. We have
So not every athlete's
limits.
getting a scholarship.
Yeah, it just spread it out, and there are a lot of people here that are walk-on players that are coming to play, and they're very good. But yeah, for instance, football has 36 scholarships, but 140 athletes. So that's a good thing for the university. That's a good thing for the bottom line.
So there's a lot of students who are coming as student athletes and pursuing those majors and those degrees, and there is that.
Yeah, they're really, and we encourage, obviously, our primary focus is students first, and their athletes second. But the student-athlete combination is really very, very healthy, and they do graduate at a very high rate.
They have a good record for academics for them in the past. Well, over the summer, you also had some, I guess I can call it administrative changes on campus. We had a couple new deans, or an interim dean and a new dean.
We did, yeah. We had, Dr. Grossbeck left, so we have interim dean. Chris Moose is in the Placer School of Business. And Chris is not new to us. We know
he's been on campus. People know who he is.
We know Chris, and he's a good guy, and he'll do a great job while the search is going on. But we were really delighted to have Dr. Rick Schooler, who was chief medical officer at Freeman before he retired, and he retired young. Sort of come out of retirement to run our. I'm
going to go into higher education now.
Yeah, he really did, and that was the whole thing. He had retired he has a ranch and raises cattle, and just going to kind of take it a little easy. But then when he had an opportunity to come and make a difference, with students, he just jumped on it, couldn't resist.
So I imagine it's exciting for you as president to see not only administrators but faculty, the enthusiasm people bring when they come here to work in their jobs.
Oh, it is. And the latest person to join us is Kevin Grime.
Right.
And Kevin's not, he's not a.
We know who he is from the past as well. Right?
We know who he is, and he's a solid middle of the lineup hitter. He's a good guy and strong. And it really is exciting to see, the team get stronger and stronger because I know that, no matter who's sitting in my chair, that if you have that strong team, it's going to be just fine.
Right. So the administration, you have a team, and we hear about the President's Council, so you have a group of people that you're working with that their areas of responsibility are being covered.
Oh yeah, good folks.
You're tying that together. Well, the Board of Governors is also a key aspect, and you had a board meeting this week as well. And your role as president and representing the administration, the university to the board, it sounds like by sitting in the meetings, there's a lot of information being exchanged there.
Yeah, we have a great board actually. And we have one of the most diverse boards in the state. We have half our board is female,
right,
which is kind of unusual in the state, and they're very, very brilliant women.
They've asked some good questions at meetings.
They do. Everybody on the board is sharp as a tack. We've got some really smart people that care a lot about the university. And I think the other thing about our board that may be a little different than others is that we have been fortunate to have several that are alums appointed to our board. So not that you don't have to be an alum to be a great board member, but it doesn't hurt to be a graduate of the institution and come back as a board member. You have some little special extra something.
Special spot in their heart maybe for the university and what they're doing. Well, tying into support, community support, I know that's something that Missouri Southern always works on. We have Third Thursday coming up in September. The community's going to see, but that's an ongoing effort as well for getting the Joplin area of the region supporting the university.
Yeah, it really is. Third Thursday is one that I look forward to. I love that. We turn green and gold downtown.
Downtown becomes Southern Town.
It's just Southern Town, and we got the athletes and the band, and it's a great time. But I'll tell you, something that has really been fabulous for me to see is to walk into Walmart, and see all the Missouri Southern gear for sale and all of the stuff that the retailers supporting us the way they are. Walk into any retail shop and you're going to find some Missouri Southern things that just a few years ago were pretty difficult to find. But I think there's a really nice tie with the community now, and they're supporting us, and we're going to try to support them.
So that old adage of you've got campus and you have town, but now you're seeing more of a blending of support.
Yeah, the old town and gown thing. We're trying to get rid of that. It's not healthy for any of us. And in fact, I think part of it, we did an economic impact study last year, found out how many dollars that were being generated, and I know the motel owners know that. They're very supportive, and so the retail people know that, and so it's just a very symbiotic relationship, and we have some very, very good friends in the business community.
And for John Q. Public, they may not realize all those jobs that are somehow maybe tied to Missouri Southern.
Yeah,
what they're doing in town.
Hundreds of jobs that are tied to, we have employment here, obviously, of over 500 people, but all the jobs that flow from here and the money that goes out into the community creates enormous numbers of jobs.
I imagine they see quite a spike in business when the students return, like they did this week as well.
You know, I saw some signs up saying, "Welcome back, Missouri Southern students."
That's great. Well, as you look ahead for this year, what are some of your goals for the academic year?
Well, you know, I think we have some new programs that are going to be introduced this year, and you know, certainly we have growing programs that our master's programs have just taken off like crazy. The master's in management, you know, you wonder when you start something, well, will it, you know, 15, 20 students? We have 65 or something like that.
Great first response.
Things are really taking off. The master's in education is just growing in leaps and bounds. So I think, you know, the opportunities for us are just really kind of unlimited, and to see where, with this great game, what great ideas people are going to come up with, because they just, you can see it in their eyes. They have it. We just need to see what it is.
So they've been holding it inside here. Now it's time to start sharing
just
it.
cut it loose.
Cut it loose. If someone would like information about Missouri Southern, people watching the community, I know we have a website. There's a lot of ways they can have their questions answered, find out more about the university.
Oh, sure. Yeah, the website, University Relations and Marketing does a great job getting things out. There was an insert in the Joplin Globe just, you know, a few days ago that kind of explained several new programs. And I think that, you know, any time that a person should have a question, just call out here, and I think anyone who answers the phone will either answer the question for you or get you the right person.
And you mentioned getting the community involved. I don't want to stop without mentioning you have the Great Britain semester, and those events open to the public. And people may not realize when they hear about a concert, they can come out and see it free of charge.
And actually, the first one's Friday night. Just since you brought it up, you know, I'm really excited. When Great Britain was picked, you know, I thought, well, that's interesting. But you know, with the Brexit leaving,
timely topics,
boy, it couldn't be better. So no, I'm really excited about this one.
So a lot of lectures, there's our own theater department's doing performances tied to it.
There will be lectures, concerts, all kinds of activities, and we would invite the public to participate in as many events as possible.
And things for people of all ages, families as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
People together,
sure.
And so forth. Well, Dr. Marble, I'd like to thank you very much for visiting with us today and sharing information with the audience and the community.
It's always my pleasure, Judy. Appreciate what you do.
Well, thank you very much. And I'd like to thank you, the viewers, for joining us this week on Newsmakers. I'm Judy Stiles. Hope you can join us again next week and throughout the upcoming year on Newsmakers. We'll see you then.